Good day, everyone, and welcome to Home at the Hollow. And oh my goodness, welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas. Today's cookie recipe is a true classic. I am sharing with you the ultimate chocolate chip cookie recipe ever. All of the recipes that I've had for chocolate chips over the years have gone by the wayside. This is absolutely the ultimate chocolate chip cookie recipe. I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of different variations so you can use the dough to customize and personalize if you have any dietary restrictions, or if you just want to kind of switch it up a little bit, or maybe like me, divide the dough up and add a little bit here and there. But if you are interested at all in an exceptional chocolate chip cookie recipe, or if you just want to come and hang out with me for a little while, then keep on watching. So we are starting with 2.5 sticks of unsalted butter, and I'm going to just put that right in here. And get started mixing this. And that's mixing up really well. It's very, very soft. We're having a little bit of a warmer day, so that helps. To the butter, I'm adding 1¼ cups. Light brown, dark brown sugar, whatever kind of brown sugar that you have. Let that get mixed a wee bit. I've got 1 cup of granulated sugar. We're going to let that get really mixed very, very well. I don't want to see any chunks of butter or anything out of the ordinary, and it looks like it's doing an exceptional job. So I've actually allowed this to beat about medium speed for about 5 minutes, and we're going to let this down a little bit and have a good look. And everything looks perfect. It's a very nice, light, fluffy consistency. And everything looks great. I just always like to scrape the sides down and a little bit and make a mess, of course. And we'll go right there and get this. I'm going to add my eggs, room temperature, 1 at a time. I'm hoping. Yeah. Yay. Life's little victories, right? And then I'm going to add the other one. And that's looking most good. I'm going to add about a teaspoon, if you don't want it that strong, but I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Beautiful aroma when it hits that, and disperses. And let's see how this is going to look for us. Oh yes, that's very nice. And the aroma is, you know, you can tell when you have good vanilla. You can definitely tell. And I encourage you, if you can splurge on or make your own vanilla, I think that's a wonderful thing. So we're going to leave that, excuse me, as it is. And I thought I had a whisk and I didn't. But I'm going to add, now this I have 2 cups of cake flour, and that would be on this side. It's very finely milled. 2 cups of cake flour and 1 2/3 of a cup of bread flour. You can use all-purpose flour if you don't have bread flour. I find bread flour has more gluten, and it helps with the rise and the tooth, so to speak, of the cookie itself. I've got 1 1/4 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of kosher salt, coarse salt, what, you know. Now, if you have salted butter, I probably would skosh that salt down maybe to a teaspoon, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon, but I'm going to just add that. And it looks really, really good from here. And I'm going to start adding that to my flour. So I've incorporated virtually almost all of my flour, but what I'm going to do with what little I do have left over, I'm going to just pour it right on top of these chocolate chips. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a view, if I can. I hope that I can. I think I should just, this is a very, very stiff dough. I would not recommend trying to do this by hand. I don't know that, you know, a hand mixer would work. I would imagine that it would. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up of, you know, the sticky, not necessarily that it's sticky, but it's very, very, very thick batter, very thick dough, not batter, dough. So there you go. I'm going to try to take this out if I can. Sometimes, you know, it just doesn't want to. I think you guys can see. This is a version of what is already in my cookbook. It is a scaled down version. Virtually the same recipe as in my cookbook. And I have been, well, you guys know I had a country inn, and very often when we weren't too horribly busy, if that was ever such a thing, but when we weren't too horribly busy, I would do as I'm doing now, making doughs up and getting them ready to bake for guest room. And as often as I could, I would leave fresh baked cookies upon your arrival. And as unusual as it sounds, somehow I had the memory, I could remember who, was there, and, what cookie they had, as unusual as it is. But yes, this is just, very, very stiff dough. I'm going to give you some variations in this recipe. And what I'm going to do, I caught a little, what is it, a bee in my bonnet or something like that? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this dough in half. I'm going to add the chocolate chips, and then I'm going to add another variation that I'm going to suggest. But I'll come up with my variations upon my taste test. So I hope that you guys will keep watching. And I'm going to get this split and do a couple of different variations. But this is your basic dough, whether you want to go chocolate chip or one of the variations that I'm going to present to you. Or you may have something that, you would like to do. But this is a very, very good, versatile dough. And I've got my dough divided up as evenly as possible, and you guys can see it will move. And then I have this over here, and so I guess to this one I'm going to add about half of this now. I use bittersweet, a combination today of bittersweet and semi-sweet, mostly because that's what I had. This recipe, if you were to combine both of these doughs and just made them chocolate chips, then you would need 1 1/4 pounds of whatever kind of chocolate chip you prefer. But I use 60%. I believe the wrapper is somewhere here, or maybe it was at a point in time, but a 60% bittersweet. But today I didn't have enough, so I just did a combination of bittersweet and semi-sweet. And that looks like, oh my goodness, that looks like a lot of chocolate chips. I bet that's going to be really good though, guys, But what I thought about doing was something maybe a little bit different. If I can get my serrated knife out, because I know I'm going to make a mess. That's just how things are. I have a friend, and she just absolutely adores, I can't say it's really chocolate covered pretzels, but chocolate flavored covered pretzels. And she really, really likes those. And I think I'm going to just give these a coarse chop and add those to the other dough. I think she'll like that. I think it'll surprise her. It'll give her a little bit of sweet and a little bit of salty. And add that to this dough. I don't mind chocolate covered pretzels. They're okay. I mean, I can't say it's something that I would eat every day, but she seems to enjoy them, so I think that she'll like them. And I have never baked a cookie that people didn't absolutely love. I had a couple of guys come and stay at the inn, and they were there for business for the government. And, of course, it was the usual breakfast and, cookies and, all of that. And, of course, they were a delight to have. But 2 weeks goes by, and here comes one of the men walking through the door with reservations for he and his wife. He had had such a wonderful time. He wanted to share it with her. And, of course, I remembered, and he spoke about my cookies, And so it's nice to be known as the cookie lady. I started that when my son was, oh, goodness, in grade school. I was always, almost always, the homeroom mom. You know, if you're going to have a party at Christmas, Valentine's, you know, whatever, they were calling me. And I became very well known as the cookie lady. So there you go. So what I'm going to do, I don't think I can do it as graciously as I want to, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of gather that the best that I can and take some plastic wrap. And this is very, very important for these particular cookies. We're going to cover them very, very well, refrigerate them before baking at least 24 hours and up to 72 hours. I personally, I can't go much past the 24-hour mark myself. But, you know, after 72 hours, you know, your dough is going to become dry. So 24, maybe 48 hours at the most. And I'm going to get these covered and put them in the fridge and gather them together, scoop them up, bake them off, and we will come back for a taste test. So my cookies have just finished baking, and I'm going to bring them out for you guys to see. They're so fresh out of the oven, my fan is still running. And here you go. You can definitely see the side that has the chocolate chips and the ones that have the pretzels. And I'm going to just set them here and allow them to rest. I have my cup and my plate all ready to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just allow them to cool here, just maybe 5-10 minutes. And then I'll transfer them to a wire rack to completely cool. And once that's done, I will be back with a taste test and some variations just to inspire you. And I am back. I'm back with my baked cookies. Oh my goodness, guys. I'm sitting here having my coffee, and these came out so good. I mean, I've never had a time when these did not come out good. And there's really, you know, no secret or no mystery to the dough. It's just a matter of the combination of flours that you use and, you know, making sure everything is very, very well blended. I do feel like the 24 hours in the fridge is very important. So I hope that that doesn't dissuade you too much from trying these. Of course, you know, you could experiment yourself and you could say, well, I'm going to bake a few off right away. and then, you know, kind of taste test both. Do you know what I mean? Compare 24 hours and one, but I'm going to stand by the 24 hours. I wouldn't leave it in there too much longer, but hey, you know, but there's other combinations that you could use with this particular dough. I'm just so pleased with this dough. It's done me very, very well. You could add, you know, you could add a combination of the white and the dark chocolate covered pretzels in the dough. You could certainly do that. You could do like white chocolate and dried cranberries if you want, if that's your thing. Or you could, now I know you guys know these candies. You could use 7 ounces, so this is 1.76 ounces. So you would need a few of these. or if you find a box of them. I think they put them out at Christmas, I think, or they used to anyway. But 7 ounces of these particular candies, coarsely chopped, with 12 ounces of dark chocolate chips. Now, yum. Oh my goodness, guys. Big yum. You could find or buy chocolate candy bars with almonds in them, and again, coarsely chop those. And if you want to add a little bit of extra almonds, a cup and a half of slivered almonds, you know, kind of coarsely chopped, that's always a great idea. But I think one of the fun things that you could do if you have children or grandchildren, or if you just want to do it yourself, I would kind of make it like a, you know, like a buffet, so to speak. You know, give a child, you know, a cup or whatever, and let them sprinkle their own chips. Or, you know, maybe they want pistachios or something like that. Cranberry and pistachio would be good. But, and let their imagination and let their taste take them where it wants to be. I think it would be a lot of fun for children to, you know, just to be able to see all the bright colors and all the different shapes and sizes and things like that. And I don't know. I think incorporating children, and of course not too young, but incorporating children into the kitchen and into the spirit of the season, and letting them express what they like and what they don't like. Some of these cookies that have the, of course, I didn't add a boatload of the chocolate covered pretzels, but I like the taste of just the cookie dough, the baked cookie dough itself. It is just, you know, it just bends, and it just goes, yes, please eat me. But these are so chewy and so good. There's a slight crisp edge. Oh, yes. And just like my lemon ginger cookies, you want it just crisp on the edge. And the bottom, let me see if I can get this one. The bottom, you don't want the bottoms too brown. They will bake. I can tell you, with the sugar content that's in here, they will bake. And they will continue to bake. Their cookies kind of remind me of nuts. When you go to toast either pecans, walnuts, almonds, you have to take into account the amount of oil that is in a nut, because once, if you were toasting a nut and once you smell the nut, it's too late, they're burnt. But just give them a very light toast, because once you take a pan of nuts out, they will continue to cook, which is why I take them straight away off of the baking sheet. But with these, I just let them set for maybe 5 minutes and let them get set before I move them to a cooling rack. But oh my goodness, everyone's gonna love you for these cookies. Oh my, that's all I can say. Thank you so much for joining me for 12 days of Christmas, and I sincerely want you to join me tomorrow here, home at the Hollow. Bye, guys.